closer.
Does it say right or left? All right.
On the left hand railing. Yeah, stand at the rail.
Okay, so that's.
Yeah, there you go, that's it. Right.
There's- Oh, it's a push button?
That's the right one.
Turn that back on.
Oh, God.
Turn it back on, please.
Turn that back on.
Okay, I'm trying.
There you go.
You can warn me as a. You should have warned me as a push button switch. I was looking for the rotating kind like before.
Before we go off trail, if anybody wants to be a serious spelunker, once a week we do off trail tours, hard hats, headlamps, boots, the full, don't shoot thing, cover your bottom, tight sneak. There's one spot we trail, the next side of it is 50 That's too tight. You have to be measured before you'll be committed on that tour.
Pretty sure. I'm
First
too
mineral?
thick.
Now, we've seen others, but look at this. This is nice stalagmite thrown here. And why don't y'all keep climbing up the stairs? There's room here. And there's a calcite flow right here that we haven't seen yet. This one's the crystals that are on the top instead of depositing from the top down. You can actually see that when I put the light under it, just like a salt lamp. It shows the crystal formation. It's yellow because people have punched it a lot over the years and they've left behind sediments and oils. Calcite in pure crystal form, which is what this is clear. Absolutely clear, just like a salt crystal is. And this is related to salt. It's a calcium carbonate salt, calcite is. So it's not a very hard mineral, not suitable for jewelry or anything like that. This would fracture if somebody bumped it too hard, but it sure is pretty when it grows this way. So if you all have seen it, you can let the folks behind you see if there's a display box there with a railing around it. If you can wait for me there. I'll be there shortly. Watch your head, there are a couple of those spots ahead of you there. So that mineral is calcite. You like minerals, right?
Yeah, but they contain.
That's pretty
This whole shelf is really calcite crystal growing vertically. Just it's too thick and too dirty in certain spots to see it all. This spot's the nicest.
Okay.
And from above, it just looks like an ugly field of flowstone.
Huh.
All right. Folks, we got a different type of calcium carbonate in that box. It's the kind that makes bones. So do you know what animal? Pardon? Dinosaur? No, it's not that old. It's only 8,000 years old. Any guesses?
You human?
No. No humans have died in this cave during.
Nobody that complained
Actually,
about it, yeah.
one person died, but that was in an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound back in 1890. And that's not him. This actually is a black bear, a small black bear. It probably came in through an opening that doesn't exist anymore. Because if you recall, the last opening was way far away, and typically bears don't go too deep into a cave to hibernate. And so he either did come in through that opening and got way lost, or more likely we think there used to be an opening over here that a landslide or a rock slide or something filled in. And we think what adds credence to that theory is that there is, way back there we found remains of a jaguar that were 38,000 years old. And we also found remains of a grizzly bear that was 50,000 years old. Both those discoveries caused scientists to have to rewrite their theories and textbooks based on those two discoveries in this cave, because at the time of the jaguar discovery, they didn't know of any jaguars that lived in the Ice Age that were cold weather cats. All the jaguars that exist today are tropical cats. And the oldest grizzly before our discovery was only 25,000 years old, half the age. So again, they had to rewrite their theories about when grizzlies migrated from Asia to North America. So this little cave system has had a number of significant scientific discoveries, part of the reason it has continued to remain a monument. By the way, all monuments and parks are constantly under review. Congress can take away a park or a monument. There's a review going on now that several monuments created in the last administration are being looked at, and that very seldom happens, but if it doesn't meet the criteria that Congress wrote in the original Antiquities Act, which was it has to be of unique scientific, cultural, or historical interest, then it can be decommissioned. So there have been very few decommissioned, but it can happen. All right, any questions before we continue our walk out? So as we go out, there's a couple other things I want to point out on the way. I think I'll get back in the lead, and I'll take the rear. Excuse me. Thank you. Hey, good news, folks. Only 4 more stair steps to climb.
It's downhill.
Is there like a squeegee hanging in there to clean the glass?
Yeah, looks like it does. That's not tacky. This is man-made here too.
For technical terms, it's fake.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Guess that's good enough.
Okay, I gotta catch my breath. I can hear at least one other person helping. So, the bad news I didn't tell you down there was, yeah, the stair steps are behind us, but we got this long, steep tunnel to climb. And this tunnel was also done in the 1930s. It actually was completed in 1937. It was started by a Forest Service team, completed by the Civilian Conservation Corps workers. And it took them 52,000 buckets of rock carried out by hand to excavate this length of tunnel. The workers worked by hand. They did use dynamite to fracture the rock, and then they finished hammering it out, chiseling it out, breaking it into smaller pieces that they could carry. The really fascinating thing to me is that it was actually 2 teams. One there back by the bare bones. In fact, it was that team that discovered the bear remains back there. That's why we built the case where we built it. And they were digging their way out. And on the surface, we had a different team digging their way in. When they met in the middle, they were out of alignment by only 4 inches.
Wow.
Yeah, the technology is very impressive. So they obviously had an engineer, although the records don't dictate, who did what on the project. But somebody worked on this that was an engineer and understood how to do it. How do you meet in the middle of a mountain without getting off
In what
out of
year?
line? Say again?
What year again?
1937 it was completed. They began it in about 1932. So there was about 1 year at the beginning, early part of the Depression, where there was very little work going on. But most of the work occurred in the latter 4 years of that period. All right, everybody catch your breath? Before we go on, I was going to point out this little cavern that we just finished going through. This is a clay pocket. It's not connected to the rest of the cave system or to the world outside. The tunnelers digging discovered this pocket of air inside the rock. They were really happy. It meant that much less rock to remove. And there were 2 of them. We did one behind you, plus this one that you're all standing in right now. And they hoped, as they dug through the rest of the mountain, to find more, but unfortunately they didn't. These are the only 2 pockets they found. These are naturally occurring. These happen in a lot of different soil types where there is erosion by acid. So limestone, marble, etc. can have these little pockets. This one has, it's called a clay pocket because there's also clay. All right, we're going to continue on. There's some we'll look at those and then we'll finish it up. There's ribbons of flowstone growing that someday might be going to be like that. And on the wall behind you, we have a formation check we haven't seen yet called rimstone. These little terraces are created when the water ripples down, and the calcite deposits at the edge of each one of these ridges extending the shelf out further. And ultimately, these will clog up and fill, like they have over here, with calcite crystals that make it flow over. So eventually, these will be filled and smoothed over, but right now they look like terraces on a hillside. And we have living moon milk in the corners. So this white cheesy stuff, kind of cheesy looking stuff is moon milk growing in there as well. So it's a bacteria interacting with the calcite, forming moon milk. And here too. So all this is nature, kind of taken over. You know, where we dug this hole in her, she began to take over and heal it with her own formations. Our descendants might get it from here, and it's not just like an cave in the future. So that's one reason I'm stopping here, seeing these cool formations in the man-made tunnel. All right, a little bit of pipe left, and then we'll be back